Hello, everyone. How's it going today? Today we have Luke helping us do some Cloudflare. So I'm super excited to get into this. Who's
Hello.
joining us today? How are you doing today, Luke?
I'm pretty good. It's a bit early, so you may have to excuse some ums and ahs, but
Oh,
I'm
no
here.
worries. Yeah, I totally get it. Where are you located?
I'm in West Coast of the US, so like San Francisco area, but
Oh, yeah. So it's super early for you.
well, it is for
It's like
San Francisco for
9.
8, but yeah,
Oh, is it 8?
8 a.m.
You're 4 hours. No, 3 hours. Wow. I can't do time.
Must be earlier for you too.
It's 11 here. I should be woke up by now. I apparently need another cup of coffee.
There you go. I'm working on my first, so
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I will go ahead and share my screen, get us over there for now, and see if we can get set up with this. What do we need to do to get a worker into a SvelteKit app?
into a SvelteKit app. Okay, so there's SvelteKit makes it a bit easy actually, and then Brittany on your screen here, you can just continue with free.
Continue free.
Yeah, for today's. For everyone else, in the 30 seconds before this call, Brittany created a Cloudflare account and just signed through and picked a worker subdomain. So that's just like what we're getting started with today. So I mean, you can do this in the background, Brittany, I guess, but for we might not even actually need
I
it.
thought we just did this part. Did it not set up the one I wanted, or is this doing another one?
It should have. Try Sirens again and see if it allows you to just keep it.
Not available. So it's
Well,
already in there.
it's yours somewhere. Maybe a refresh will kill the whole process.
Okay.
Okay, so workers in SvelteKit. So there are two ways to do it, right? So granted, SvelteKit is still not yet a 1.0 stable.
Crossing our fingers for soon.
Soon. The evolution of that relationship is that initially there was only Cloudflare workers and that SvelteKit could use. And so that is the adapter Cloudflare workers package, which still works, still maintain like it may be falling behind a little bit with the module stuff, which we can get into later, but like it's still a valid target.
Okay.
And to do that, you just have your SvelteKit app. I don't know if you have one, Brittany, that you want to open
I
up.
don't yet. Should we go ahead and get one set up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we want to npm init svelte at next, and we want to call this Cloudflare. And I'm going to add workers to it. And what do we want to do today? Do we want to try the demo app? Is there anything in there we could do with workers?
The skeleton project actually has some API stuff on it, right?
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
skeleton project. And what about these like TypeScript, Pretty, or ESLint?
Your preference.
Okay.
These days I do TypeScript, but it's not necessary.
I'll configure it so it's configured, and then I'm just gonna yes to all those today because we don't usually do that, but
yes,
I'm just going to.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood and how I feel on any given day if that's gonna happen. All right, so we're in here. Can I use PNPM?
Yes, I mean that's my
perfect
tool of choice. So that installs, but I think by default SvelteKit still gives you Node as
in the SvelteKit config. Is that Svelte config?
Yeah, so it's the
it
auto.
does adapter auto now, which is like it chooses based on the platform you host to, I believe.
I guess so. I haven't used SvelteKit in a month or two. That sounds. I thought it depended it. I thought it read based off of the package.json dependencies, but I am pretty sure I am wrong, and you are far more familiar with it than I am. So great. We can just push this now to get things going, and I'll so create your GitHub repo and push it up just as a bare bones project. But I guess to continue my earlier rant,
you can. And someone actually said, can you give a 60-second overview of workers also?
Okay. So workers is Cloudflare's serverless platform or serverless function platform. So if you are familiar with things like AWS Lambda or GCP functions, it's like that, but in my opinion, better because by default, it is not tied to a single region. And it's also not tied to the Node.js runtime specifically. It's tied to the service worker API. So all of the web APIs you may already know and love and or hate, but like they're all there. And so it's not tied to a single region. Workers by default are a global deploy target. So you can write your worker, deploy it, and within 30 seconds of that deployment, every single data center that Cloudflare owns is running your updated worker code, which means that users in San Francisco, where I am, and users in Shanghai, wherever, they're hitting a data center closest to them, and it's using your code, which is great because, again, if you are coming from AWS or GCP world, you have to manually pick and choose and configure all of those regions that you may want to serve your application in. Way beyond 60 seconds, but the additional tie-ins is that Cloudflare offers a bunch of other products too, like Workers KV. Cloudflare is routinely known for its CDN and cache offerings, but Workers play in with all of those because it runs at the edge. So with a worker, you can control cache programmatically, do stream transformations, literally anything you want to do, and it's as close to the user as possible. I think the stat is 85 or 90% of all internet users are within 100 milliseconds of a Cloudflare data center. So it's
wow.
We're everywhere, and workers are also everywhere.
That is pretty incredible. So
I'm used to seeing 30 or 40 millisecond response times where I am.
Sorry. If y'all just heard Slack, I'm shutting it down. Okay, so I got the GitHub repository and initialized. I pushed up to it and I linked it out to chat. If they want to check it out, we'll add to it later, I'm sure.
So at this point, let's open up, hopefully, I'm sure your situation's smooth and everything, but let's open up the Cloudflare dashboard once again and look at the pages area. Because the easiest way to use Cloudflare with SvelteKit these days is the adapter Cloudflare package, which again will be automatically, because of this fancy adapter auto package,
hopefully will
be used with this pages.
Okay, so we want to go ahead and create a new project and try to get it hosted?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So connect with GitHub. What this does is, sure, it's looking at your repos. You can pick and choose later on if you want to be explicit about it, but this works in a very similar way to the Netlify bots and the Vercel bots out there, where it attaches to your repo, and pages, as the Cloudflare product, is watching the repository for updates. And so pages offering includes preview deployments, which is when you have a non-main branch receiving code updates, it's kicking out a versioned staging deployment, or preview deployment as we call it. And that is versioned and may update with the longevity of your branch. And it just keeps itself posted. And is there a question you're waiting to ask me here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just making sure I'm doing the right thing here. And so we need to go through, and you were talking about branches and I was at the main branch. So I just kind of left it there for a minute.
So as of this point, we only have a main branch.
Yep.
I think we have SvelteKit in here as a framework preset at this point.
So I may not need to, I need to click
there
SvelteKit.
We go. Yeah. So the framework preset just picks and chooses, prefills, I should say, the build command in the output directory. So
gotcha.
It just saves you that little bit. And at this point, we can save and deploy. Sorry. We're fine. I was just going to say, you might want to pick and choose the name of the project, because that becomes your project URL.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still relevant.
We'll see if that will actually. Oh, it just went away as soon as I was trying to copy it.
So it must be, it's initializing and going.
Awesome.
So
finished.
Yeah, pages will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it said finish cloning repository, and I thought it was done. I was like, that was fast, but it's not done yet. It's still building. It was cloning the repository, and it said finish cloning, and I was like, oh, that was fast.
Gotcha. Well, there is a toggle we can turn on later, but
it had a failure. Is there a way to view the logs in here?
I think that's still being updated if it fails. Can we see? Can we just run npm run build in your project right now?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, of course. Very fast and easy.
So it goes to the SvelteKit directory, and it was trying to build the Cloudflare directory. I noticed that. Is that an issue?
Yeah, that's what it used to be. So that must have changed with the new auto stuff.
Okay, so I need to go back to the deploy screen. Where
I think it's at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah, change settings.
Okay, so this just needs to be SvelteKit. .SvelteKit.
Is it not output?
Build.
Let's
output? Is this the one that we want?
Let's be a little. Let's figure this out together because I haven't done it since auto days. Can we install pnpm? So add the @svelte.js/adapter -Cloudflare.
Does it need the or it's not at?
I think it's the latest.
Is it at latest? Is that how?
The latest is always the default.
Oh, okay. It will be that. Yeah. And this is a dev dependency, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then I think, yeah, we're going to update these and hope and pray that this still works.
Okay. So you want me to try that build again?
Yeah, let's purge this SvelteKit directory too, just to see what we get. And then from there, I will have the ability to know what the output directory is. In build phase. Okay, there's some stuff that moved around.
Builder.prerender has been removed. Pre-rendering now takes, I forgot at next. That's what I was thinking, is I needed the at next on it to make it get the.
Oh, okay.
Let's try that again.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's just to get that built fine. So it was just that. And now we have a Cloudflare directory. So now maybe the build will work on the deploy.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, let's just update this, and then I can sync with the Svelte team later and see how to get auto to work on pages. Okay. But let's stash these changes and update the repo once again, and we'll kick that off.
Stash them or add them?
Sorry, add them. I am not really known to use official
no, it's lingo. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I did the right thing. It's going to tell me to do this. Okay, so that's updated.
Cool. So now we should be able to
kick off a new build.
Yeah, I think you have to manually redo it because we haven't had a successful link yet.
Okay.
But we'll have to update the output directory again. So /Cloudflare. Because it is, at least with direct usage, it is still relevant.
So you need to add a node version to Cloudflare pages, Andrew's saying in the chat. So that could be it too. I know on Netlify for a while we had an issue where we had to set the node version by default, but that's resolved now.
That's a good call out. I actually wrote that documentation, so I should know that. Yeah, so this will fail. We can go back and scroll to the bottom and I think change settings preemptively. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at this point, it's in, scroll down a little bit, please. Environment variables advanced. So this is all caps node _version. And you can just do 16.
Do I need the dots?
No, it'll just use the latest 16 version. That was Andrew.
Try this again.
Was that Andrew with the call out?
Yes.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes. Yeah, so Pages by default, it still uses Node 12.18, something like that. And I think literally the bare minimum that SvelteKit at least required was 12.20. So it like just missed the cutoff.
Just missed it.
Now it might be 14, but yeah.
Node versioning is like one of my banes. I just don't like it. At work, we use 14.15.0, and the NPM version is still 6, and we need 7 for our peer dependencies. So it is a nightmare.
What's in 7 that you need specifically?
The peer dependencies don't install automatically.
Oh yeah. That was a big feather ruffle when that happened.
Yeah, so this looks like it was successful, so we can continue to our project now.
Great. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So automatic deploy, we can visit the site and see that we have bare bones SvelteKit skeleton application there.
Great.
Right.
So
I know, right?
Now Very we have Pages just working, right?
Yes.
Fast builds are great. There are a couple ways to do this. So Pages is, sorry for my loud chair. Pages is I don't want to say opinionated, but it's like a done for you platform that Cloudflare offers, right? Like Pages is built on top of Workers, and it utilizes both Workers KV, which is like a globally distributed key value data store, right? So like when it's doing manifest lookups and whatnot, that's inside of KV because that's close to all of the data centers that are actually running the Workers code as well. And then Pages is also using the durable objects product from Cloudflare, which is, I like to explain to node developers as like mini node servers with Redis baked in to the server. So like it's little like in a chess context, like it's like little pawns that are like standalone and you can spawn them where necessary. And they have their own storage. They can handle WebSockets, whatever they want to do. And that's used for file serving within the Pages.
I don't do a lot of node development. What is Redis?
Redis is like a super fast key value store. So basically, it kind of competes with Workers KV, but it is a full-on like database. So I just use that as a comparison. There's not actually any Redis in a durable object, but like it just has its own storage inside of there, as if you're writing like to a file system on like a traditional node server.
Gotcha.
So let's see how some of those pieces actually play inside of your VS Code and look at the output directory, since it's the same output that.
Is it the pre-rendered?
I'm sorry. So the SvelteKit, and there's a Cloudflare directory, and then the _ worker.
Oops.
That guy right there. So this is kind of the ugly version, but if you scroll towards the bottom, right, this is what SvelteKit's generating for the Pages platform. I think it will be all the way at the bottom, and we can go from there. Perfect. Okay, so that var worker default. I know don't want to spend a lot of time here because obviously it's not the prettiest stuff to look at, but this is a worker definition, right? A worker default, it's an object with a fetch function on it. For Cloudflare, this is what we call like our module worker syntax. Before, there only used to be a service worker, but in the Pages world of workers, it's only module workers. So we have this module worker with the fetch method. It takes a request, takes some environment variables, which come through as which we call bindings, but that's where you'll get access to like a KV namespace or a durable object. And in the Pages usage, there is a durable object, and that is called assets, all capitals. So that's on line 2257, or 4 lines down from your current highlight.
Right there.
Yes. So the worker that Pages produces has this code, this like pre-filled worker code that will take a request and immediately go to the durable object associated with the project and be like, hey, do you have this request, or do you have this path in your storage, because we're going to serve a file here. And that is used for a couple reasons within here, but that's like for static file serving, right? Like if you have a pre-rendered page in SvelteKit, that's going to come out of the storage and not like be rendered by the worker itself, because it's already static. And that's really mostly what I wanted to call out here. But like there are bindings within their pages is very, very, done for you already. And the rest of this worker in this case is just, again, on line 2273, it's looking for static assets. But the whole point is it's looking for static stuff, relying on some kind of external product, and then using the SvelteKit to respond dynamically to the request. And that's 2 lines below there, and it's returning an actual response. So this is the crux of what the pages integration with SvelteKit is doing, or the workers integration for that matter, because it's the same code more or less. Is check for something else, return a response, and like let SvelteKit do all that it wants to do. So if we were to not use SvelteKit, which is what the whole point of this tangent was we could write a worker that more or less looks like this and deploy it to pages as an underscore worker function, or use the page's built-in file routing, which we don't have to worry about because we use SvelteKit. We can write a worker just like this and have it like deploy, and that's everywhere in the world. And
it kind of works.
It will just work. And like if we do it through pages, it's automatic branches with like changes to the worker code or changes to our SvelteKit code. Will dynamically update the server in addition to updating the static portion of the site without actually affecting the main site. And that's our like preview deployments offering. So quite a bit going on there. It's a little bit like peek under the curtains, I guess, but should we start like updating the SvelteKit app with actual dynamic bits?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see if we can get like our own worker. Is that like correct terminology?
We can add our own path to it, but because we are doing it through the, I guess, the lens of a SvelteKit application, we are always going to have to do it through SvelteKit's means, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we can
go. Do we do that through like endpoints?
Yeah. We can do an endpoint, and I don't know if you want to do like a form submission thing or just like have an endpoint that like responds to a path parameter.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. You may have to drive here with the actual SvelteKit syntax and whatnot, but for I can get stuff up on the site, because again, it's been a little while since I used SvelteKit.
Yeah, give me just a second. I always forget the syntax on these. So it's export const get, and we need an async function. And then we just need like a try catch block. Catch error, yes. I forgot I didn't turn Copilot off, but sometimes it's great. So, all right. Yeah, I'm going to disable that for a minute.
I love how it tries to bring in Axios. I was thinking the other day, so glad I haven't seen Axios in so long, and then here it is.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to do something to get some data back to the client. So what are we going to do here with the endpoint?
I think my brain leads starts with like a path parameter. So like the square bracket, like name.js, something like that. So that way we can just pull out the name from the URL just to sort of prove that it's working.
Oh, you want to do like a dynamic endpoint? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. That's the easiest way for me to test something like that, but you may have.
Oh, slug, like that? Is that what we're?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, I hope that's still how it's done in SvelteKit.
That is how it's done, and we
Great,
need
okay.
the request and response. We may not need that, but we need the request for sure.
This is the stream where I'm outed for really not keeping up with SvelteKit.
That's totally okay. So yeah, we just need the request object to come back. So we need to get that slug off of the slug. Get that off of the request.params.
That looks correct.
Okay. And are we just going to return this? Like, what do we want to do with that slug, I guess?
We can just return a string that says like hello, comma, slug, like slug value. And again, very simple, but it is going to be completely dynamic.
I think this needs to be in an object. We ran into this at one point. So let's see if that will work. And then we need a dynamic route here, I believe, to match up with that slug.svelte. And here, no, I just did a folder. I did not mean to do a folder. Okay, so now this is like the new shadow endpoint, page endpoint. I'm going to keep calling it shadow until it sticks thing that we've got going on. We don't have to do it in the context module anymore. We can just export we called it slug though.
Yeah.
Let's just try it that way and see if we get anything back from this. Slug and console.log slug. Save. I want to pull that over here. Pull that over here.
We may have to, or at least want to reset it to the adapter auto, because I think right now it will still continue building for pages, which we don't need to do. I think Andrew's suggestion earlier was the only reason why it failed.
Okay.
But that's just.
Do we need to do that, or since it's building, does it matter if it's building with the Cloudflare one, or should we push it back to auto?
Well, I guess I may be jumping the gun. Are you going to run this locally now?
Yeah, I'm just running it locally right now.
Oh, we may not need to. Again, I'm probably like way months, which in SvelteKit terms is like years behind the curve here.
Okay, undefined reading fall through.
Yeah, we clearly.
Oh, I think I need props here, don't I? Or no, that's not. Just body is what it should be.
I'm looking at the docs real quick, and it looks like if we just do slug, we can do export let slug.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, no, sorry. The slug as an object, like you had just typed.
Okay. And then we should be able to get slug back here. Just like this, right? But we're getting cannot read properties of undefined reading fall through. I wonder if that's like a. I wonder if this is because, let me just do blog, and I'm going to drop that in there and that in there. And then do an index.svelte. There was a bug where you couldn't do index, so I'm trying to see if that's the reason. So now we need to go to blog. And if we go to blog/1, did we get a console? 1. We did. We got the slug, which is 1.
Oh, nice.
Did that make sense?
It does now. It took me.
I went through that a little fast, but so we have a 1 console here, and I just typed 1 up here. So if I type Brittany, if I have the slash in there like I'm supposed to, I should get Brittany in the console.
Nice. Okay.
Perfect. All right. So we have the slug returning into the slug.svelte file. I'll get rid of these extra ones.
So now we have, great. Okay. So we can, I guess just pass it through to like an H1 just to like have a visual representation of what's going on, right? Ta-da. So exact same thing that we had, not the coolest like dynamic thing, but like purely dynamic. So like we can just save this, put a bow,
like just ship it.
with another unofficial lingo. Okay, let's add this and commit it and like push it just to, you know, have the same functionality remotely. If we want to test out the like pages branch stuff, we can maybe push it to a different branch, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay, I can do that too. Sorry.
That's okay. Maybe our like when we spice up this like demo, we can do it in a branch.
Maybe I should do feature workers and get push origin feature workers. Okay, so now we have two branches. We have a feature workers branch and a main branch, and they're both equal right now.
Cool.
Ship it, yes. Branch.
Maybe in this feature workers, ship it, yes, indeed. In our feature workers branch, we can just add like hello, comma, and then the slug value, right? A very big important change.
Very big important change. Okay.
Okay, so now we can kind of see what's happening inside the pages dashboard, which at least one of them should be done by now.
Oh, we need to go.
I think it's the second tab.
Here. Yeah, I'll make it big, and let's see what's happening. Deployments. This one.
So, scroll down a little bit, please. So we have the few seconds to go. Yeah, so that's the clone version is in progress right now, but the line item below that happened a few seconds ago. That was actually our change, right? So we can view the build, which shows the logs, but
okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and like view the build. That's fine, I guess. We can see it replicates the same values every time, right? So it will always build the same, but that link in the top right,
this one,
just below that.
Oh, this link.
Yes. So that if you can click on it, but was only the blog portion that worked, or was it all of it that should have worked?
Oh, it must be, you know what it is? It's my endpoint, that main endpoint that's doing that. I need to delete this one.
But does the dynamic portion work here?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Okay, so the thing I just want to call out here from the page's perspective is that the subdomain of this, right? The hash, the I can't read, B5D9.
B5D91359.
So this will exist forever, right? So like, because this was a main branch deployment, this exact same deployment, if you delete the B5 portion and press enter, so like it's the exact same version. So your main branch will always update, and currently you don't have a custom domain on it, but like the production URL for this pages project is your testing my eyes, Sirens stream Cloudflare workers pages.dev, blah, blah, blah. Like that's your production URL. And every time you update main, that updates, but every main update gets its own hashed URL that exists indefinitely. So you can do instant rollbacks at any point. If we look at the pages dashboard one more time.
Is that this one or the other one?
The second tab. So I guess just to double down on that point, the fourth line of this table. So we have the B5D9 that we just looked at.
Mm-hmm. And this one has a different hash.
And that one has a different. So that still exists and exists forever. If you click on the 3 dots at the far right of that row, we can instantly roll back. But it's instant just because it's there. Meanwhile, our feature workers branch also has its own hashed URLs, right? But if we view build on, let's say on either of them, it's the same.
The same. It doesn't matter which one.
The same for what I'm going to be like ta-daing, but if you view view build there, so that does its thing. It has this version URL, but if you scroll to the top of it, there's an aliases section. So deployment details, preview, aliases. The branch name is like the production or like the long-term name of that branch. So as you continue to update feature workers branch, that URL will always be the latest. But if you want to look at specific commits within that branch, those commits will be hashed with unique addresses. So
that like, again, is a really neat feature. So you can see at any given moment where your app was.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So this latest commit is the 0E391F04 in the top right.
Yep.
You know, which is currently this latest, but because we pushed the identical branch earlier, which was the first build, like that, it was a different commit that still pointed to feature -workers dot, pages project. So
awesome.
Cool. What else should we do here? You deleted stuff locally. It probably doesn't warrant another push yet, but do you want to start playing with headers maybe? See how like interacts with cache?
Yeah, that would be great.
Cool. Again, we'll have to drive for the Svelte side of it.
Okay. See if I can find some documentation because I don't know headers.
I believe it is like a headers key next to the body and status key.
Inside or you said next to it?
Yeah, so it'd be like status, headers, and body. And so here you can, I should probably double check.
Right?
Yeah, status, headers, and body. And it would be an object.
Then is it type or is it?
It will be the header name here. So what we're looking for is cache control. So it'll be quoted cache -control. And let's do something like public in a string, public, comma, max -age equals 15.
Like that?
So this is going to cache for 15 seconds, but we have to kind of prove it now. So in addition to our slug, let's also do something like, let's do like a timestamp or like const now equals like new date to local string.
To local?
New date with parentheses.
Like this?
So new date and then open parentheses, close parentheses.
Yeah.
And now outside the parentheses, outside of the closing ones, we're going to do dot to local string.
Yeah.
It's just without the parentheses. JavaScript thinks you're trying to access the prototype, but like,
I just forgot to call the function.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we call the function there. So to local string parentheses.
And then I can just return date with this. Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't actually have a value yet. So let's go to line 4 and add parentheses to call that function at the end of it. Perfect. Okay. So then display this somewhere. Hello slug, the time is blah. Yeah, that's the better way to go.
And we don't have it. Export let date is what we called it. And this is actually date time, I think. Date time. Oh, I cannot type today. My brain isn't working. Date. Save. Do you work? Yes.
Cool. So if this works correctly, like we can push this up to our feature workers branch, right? So we can test the hashing stuff once again. But Oh, actually, let's inspect this here just to make sure we did the Svelte stuff right. Inspect the network panel, please. And make sure that the cache control header is there. There's a lot of
stuff there.
My guess would be it's the first one because it's rendered.
This
so
one?
the very, yeah. Response headers. Cache control, no cache. Maybe it's overriding for local.
You want to try to push it and see if we can get it on the live site?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know why I struggle with the word origin. Like I always try to put the I's in weird, funny places.
Yeah. I think I finally kicked the habit, but for years it was origin. Like
without the I.
Yeah, without the I or like two I's before the N. It's just a mess. I feel like there's like a very sleek way to do cache stuff in SvelteKit.
There may be. I have not worked with it. I would love to learn more about that.
Setting cookies. Let's try this new search, which is new to me. Cache. Max age.
Okay, deploying. Success. Your site was deployed. Let's go over here. Go to /blog. Let's do a different one. Hello, Siren. We have it. Inspect it. My stomach is growling.
So what we want to see is if you refresh the page twice, if you get the same, not like super fast, but if you refresh it, if you keep the same timestamp.
So we just did it once. So should I do it again and see if it's got the same one?
Yes.
No.
Okay, one more time, please. Yeah, okay. So that clearly was not the way to set cache control.
Okay.
We can verify on the Siren network panel, the first entry on the network panel. Response headers. Yeah, there's no cache control there. So I am seeing in the docs that there's this max age value. It says if you return promise from load, the load function, SvelteKit will delay rendering until promise resolves. The return values have several properties, all optional. So there's status, again, error, redirect, max age, props, and the infamous stuff.
So right? Max age is a property here? Is that what you said?
It was talking specifically about the load function, which I don't think.
Oh, that's the context module that we're avoiding with that page endpoint. So if we script context equals module, and if we do export async function load, and we pull out, what is it, params?
Mm-hmm.
And then we const, I'm gonna try slug equals fetch. Oh, we need fetch too. Fetch, and we want to fetch /blog/ and it's, oh, I need template literal. And $:, we need params. I don't know what it is anymore. .url. They changed it.
I think we called it slug. I'm just looking at the file name.
It needs whatever SvelteKit calls it.
The example I'm looking at just calls it in line with the file name.
Okay, so
it'd be params.slug there.
Params.slug. And then we return props slug and See if that stays the same.
Okay, so I think we need to remove the .url on line 3 and then also await the fetch.
Right on that. Await fetch. Await fetch. It's still pulling. Oh, I'm on the. Jeez, Brittany.
Oh, well, fooled me. I was like, maybe you're looking at
object response.
Okay, so that slug constant is the response.
This is the response. And then we need const slug equals res.json. Now, maybe, nope.
We can call that, so rest.json is also a promise. So I think that should be const props equals await rest.json because the endpoint, so add an await there. Because the endpoint's still returning slug and what do we call it? Date as is. So maybe just log props right now to make sure that's what we have. Or yeah, just return it. I should.
Oh, so, I can just do that shorthand.
Yeah, the lazy typer's friend. Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, I don't know. It oh, I'm not exporting. Export let props. Props. And let's switch this out for props. I don't know why the hot model reloading died too. I think I killed the server. Yep.
Yes.
I broke the server. Okay, now it's like there's a problem with the JSON.
What's going on here? I wish I had done this more recently. Await fetch response.
So this is what it was talking about, though. This is the load function that you were talking about, but we were getting all of that back from this shadow endpoint without that.
Right.
We just weren't getting this cache header. So it's the header that's not right.
So yeah, now we have to like undo the automatic shortcut stuff we were getting, and just so that we can add in a max age property.
Oh, so it said $$ props. That doesn't work either.
Let's so const props, let's just do like const data equals await rest.text just to see what the heck we're getting. This is how I debug stuff. Because the JSON is,
what did you say? Equals await res.text?
Yeah, as a function. And then comment out const props on the line above it. Just remove that and then return an empty props here. And then so now log out, that's expected, but log data to see what we have.
Oh, I can't do it in the bottom because we're not returning it. So that's going to be. Wow, that is an error not found.
Okay, that would explain the JSON thing. Can we log out the params? Because it's the period. Okay, so what happened here is we're already on the /blog/Brittany URL, right? But because we fetched with a relative, as in
James,
a ./blog, it's appending blog to /blog already, because that's just how URL resolution works. So you can keep, I would do a /blog and just remove the period entirely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now it will actually fetch for /blog/Brittany, and that should be our API endpoint.
And that is logging out here, the res.text.
Yeah, but we may need, does SvelteKit still do the .json stuff to get like API data?
No, that's what the whole page endpoint thing was kind of doing away with. And so it actually like saves all of this boilerplate code too. Like we don't have to do this anymore. We do all of it in the endpoint. and then it just comes through to the .svelte file as props automatically.
So should we just undo the last like 4 minutes and try to add 5 minutes and try to add max age property to the, I think you call it the shadow endpoint?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that, because if that's the case, I think we should update the docs on SvelteKit too, because that wasn't.
That is very possible. This change happened less than a month ago. They probably don't have good docs on them yet.
Okay.
And now they're undefined. Those were working. Okay, just needed a refresh.
Okay, phew. Didn't completely break, it still works.
Okay, so we need to do the max age property here, or
Yeah.
I was trying to look up headers with SvelteKit and I'm not finding what I want.
So I only found a couple mentions and it just said stick it there, but cache control may be special. So remove the headers stuff and replace it with max age, no hyphen.
The camel case, or
no, the way I see it here in the docs is it's all lowercase.
Okay. And then just a number 15?
Yeah, the number 15.
Okay.
And now we can inspect the network again, see if we get
on local or on the site built.
It should still apply locally. Cache is kind of important, so I don't think Svelte would like ignore that locally.
Network. Okay.
So it'd be the first.
It is changing. Cache control, no cache.
Oh, you know what it may be? This is always fun. You have disable cache ticked in your, which should be ticked most of the time, but like that's why the request no cache is there.
Cache control max age 0, so it's not passing it.
Response headers though. Okay, so max age 0 is just an instant invalidation. But if, let's go to the pages deploy. Actually, no, the header wasn't there at all. This is now like a quest to figure out how to add a cache control header to a SvelteKit app, because this isn't specifically Cloudflare anymore, right? Like this is just
this is like working with endpoints. I wish I knew more about this stuff. I'm trying.
So I'll show you the thing I'm looking at. I'll send it to you real quick, but that's the only mention of like caching or max age in the docs. So, and this is within the load area that we were trying to do.
Max age. To cause pages to be cached, return a number. Huh.
That looks relevant. Did we find our way into an open issue? Probably.
There is an open issue.
Return logo
when using max age. This is in the load function though, so I'm not sure this is totally relevant.
Expected behavior.
I don't know if this is exactly what we're looking for.
I'll realize A. Oh. Okay. And so I didn't catch the name, but this person updated.
Someone was saying, Frank was saying, if he remembers correctly, dev mode adds max age of 0 in the request. So could it be overwriting it?
It could be. What the person updated with was that fetching, if you you fetch without credentials, like SvelteKit SvelteKit cares a lot about like user sessions and stuff, right? So it's doing a lot of magic there. So at least with the issue presented, I guess it was before shadow endpoints, like the manual load function was there. And by default, fetch includes credentials because that's just like, hey, here's a cookie, like have fun with it. If you say ignore my cookies, then SvelteKit says, okay, I will ignore your cookies and allow it to actually be public, because a cache control public anything means that like this is public. People can reuse this response. But if you're rendering something that is specific to the user, let's say they're like user profile page and it has like their email in it, right? When it's not like a public email. If that leaked out as a cache control public, then anyone who goes to like user/Brittany, like is going to see Brittany's private email address when it was only meant for her. So that is the difference between cache control public with a max age and cache control private with a max age. Like a private cache can live for an hour or 6 hours, whatever it is to you. But even then, we're still not getting that from the response header. We're not getting any cache control from the response header.
So how would we add the headers here? You found that. Can we add the headers on this side? Someone was saying that if we use the load function and send it that way, it might work. SvelteKit's not going to make an HTTP request in localhost.
News to me. We definitely try it. So I think we have to redo what we had set up here, but we just add a parameter to the fetch call itself. So I'll give you a second to type it out before I annoy you with any changes.
Okay, so we just need to do the res.json here, right? And
yeah. So the res.json, we can log it out to see what we get, but then we're going to be returning something from this function. So this is returning the props of whatever.
and you just want to console this again?
Yeah, just to see what we get.
Looks like, is that the right one? Note. Int JSON at position 0. In.
Are we sure there's no .json at the end of this now? Again, that's the last time I've used any of.
So you mean like I need to put, so you mean here, .json.js, is that what you're referring to?
I was saying like in the fetch URL itself. So blog/params.slug and then .json at the end of that URL.
Oh, maybe because it needs to fetch the JSON endpoint, but we're not calling it JSON. So it's fetching this endpoint. So it was fetching the JS file, but if we do that, we need to do that. And now it's undefined. And we're getting this back. Oh, okay. So maybe to do it the old fashioned way, we need to do the load function and we need to have the JSON and have the JSON here.
Okay. There's probably an updated way, but I certainly don't know. And you're far more likely to figure out than I am.
Okay. So we're getting this returned now.
Great. So we can return that. So props::data, because that's all the stuff our endpoint's returning.
Okay.
Not as an object, but just props::data. Unless
I think props needs an object. Maybe I'm wrong. And is this data.slug?
Well, the data there is an object already. So I was just being a shorthand, right? So we log it out and we see the curly brace slug in your console.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To fix these, can I just do data.dot now?
Possibly.
No.
No, I still think it's slug and date there without the data.
Oh. But it's not getting those back. We're not returning them anywhere. It can't get these because they don't exist. I mean, I can uncomment these, but it's still not getting them.
Let's try. Yeah. So data, if we log data again, so you can remove that line 12.
Just remove it?
Just remove it because the data is an object that we're passing down. So if we
So
log
it just does that magically without like calling it again as a prop?
So what we did, if you go up to the load function.
Yeah, I mean, we return the data. I get that. But usually you have to pull that in as a prop in your script tag.
Well, the data here has the slug and has the date keys within it. So like we can do props colon and
So
then
it kind of passes those just kind of under the hood.
yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly in the shape that we would have reconstructed
I have
manually.
just never seen that like shorthand.
I'm all about shortcuts, even if they
Yeah, that's
bite me
awesome.
later. They typically bite me later, PS. But okay, so we got back to where we were yet again.
Yes.
So now we can try the max age thing.
Okay, so we need to do that in somewhere in here.
So right below props, it's part of the return. So let's do like max age colon 15 again.
Like that?
Yeah. According to the documentation, this should affect.
Okay, so we want to refresh and we want to see the seconds not change if I do it a couple seconds later.
Yeah.
Okay, so 41, 45, it's still not working.
Oh, and this is what the issue was. So the person who like updated their own ticket, if we go back to the fetch call.
The fetch call.
So we're fetching blog params.json. So as the second argument, so JSON, close the backtick.
Here?
Yeah. At the end of there, we're going to open, we're going to add omit colon, credentials colon omit.
Is that in something?
Okay, so press your right arrow key once. Again, if I had official lingo, this would be better. No, delete that. So we're like after the string, we're going to add a comma and like pass in options to fetch itself.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah. I'm going to blame this on it being early still.
And is this an object or is this just strings again? Or
an object.
Okay.
So this will be credentials.
Credentials. I can't type either.
colon omit inside of a string.
Lowercase?
Yeah. Yeah, we're JavaScript type developers, so everything is lazy, one word, lowercase. So according to the issue, this should do the trick.
Okay.
It may not, but this would allow it to ignore the private stuff.
Still not.
It's not doing the trick. It may be a local thing that
Okay, so let's try pushing it. Headers.
Please work.
Max age. Fortune, future workers. I can't see. Go back. And in progress. I'm going to close out some of these so I don't get super confused. Still in progress. Please work because we're 5 minutes over.
If not, I don't know if you do. Yeah, you do show notes and stuff, right? Like,
yeah, I try to keep up on them so I can add them back in later. And I link off the GitHub repository so I can always update it too if we figure it out.
Yeah, the way my brain works, I'm going to like not stop thinking about this until I find out what, yeah. So again, nothing to do with like, I guess the title of the episode, the Cloudflare stuff, but cache is an important part of what Cloudflare does. So we can tally it in.
Yeah, we did the workers and the pages pretty quickly. So we just struggled with headers and cache for 30 minutes.
We're doing important SvelteKit testing.
This is like the most important work here. We're doing testing and we're going to file issues and figure it out and fix docs. Why is this taking so long?
When you need it most. I'm going to say it may be done. It's just like
Yeah,
It was done.
it probably was done. Yeah, it says a minute ago.
Good old work.
So this one, log credentials field is not implemented. Oh, so that was not the thing.
That was not the thing, and this is likely a worker's error, actually, unless there's like a polyfill that's interjecting in the place.
I don't know, but
We
maybe
can
we're
do
filing Cloudflare issues too at this point.
we can do one final commit if you're okay with going, let's say, 7 minutes over.
Sure.
Just remove the credential stuff.
Okay. So remove this. We will figure out the max age thing later.
Yeah. So
Get add, get commit, removed credentials, and get push origin feature workers. And that way it is at least working.
mhm.
And this should work once it's rebuilt.
Yeah, and we can test the max stage part specifically on its own, see what it does or doesn't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll bring it up in the like Svelte team chat because I feel like the shadow endpoint stuff was really nice. It's the first time I've actually like seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But to undo all of that just to get in and tweak a cache lifetime is, I don't want to say silly, but like it's a little bit unfortunate that you have to do that. Whereas if you would just set the header directly, or even like move the max age part to the API
for the back, for the endpoint, yeah.
For the get method, right? The get export. Yeah. That would be a lot nicer because this was a lot of what we probably ran around doing this 20 minutes, 25 minutes according to pages.
This is probably done again too.
I know when you view build, it does update instantly.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, see, it is
success. Your site was deployed. Yeah. Perfect. So now this site that I just linked should work. We don't have any links or anything out there, but we can add to it later if we figure out. Jeez.
Okay, so 4:07 p.m.
Nope.
One more time, because it may have been over 15. Yeah, no. Okay. So it's a good follow-up, right? Good follow-up.
That is. Yeah, we can have you back on once we figure out like how to do this and once we get the docs updated for SvelteKit. Like I said, the shadow endpoints, like I'm going to keep saying that until it catches. They need to be like flushed out. There's some bugs with them still. The documentation needs to be expanded. So we've got some work to do, but yeah, I'm really hoping it's getting there because I really like the shorthand. It gets rid of that boilerplate. It's really nice developer experience.
That's great. That's especially that was a recent ad you said a month ago. Within
the last month. Not that long ago. So
what is the official name? Because I do like shadow endpoints.
Page endpoints. I know, right? Like page endpoints is fine. Shadow endpoints is cooler.
I'm with you. Shadow endpoints for sure.
Yeah. They called it shadow endpoints in the PR, and so I kind of stuck for me, and it's that forever.
Yeah. Sorry guys, sorry everyone. You let the cat out of the bag, so now it's going to stay.
Thank you everyone for sticking around with us too. We did actually get pages and workers working. So if you wanted to see any of that, we're also working through caching. So we will try to update this repo and get it pushed back up so that you have the correct code and figure out our documentation and things that are wrong there. And thank you, Luke, for coming on. I appreciate it. I loved learning more about Cloudflare. This was my first experience with it, so I really enjoyed it. And we have Amy Dutton coming on April 15th to talk about testing with Svelte and SvelteKit. She's going to do a Sirens talk for us. And we have another Sirens stream at the end of April on April 27th with Tomas Piros from Cloudinary. And I am going to take a short vacation the next 2 weeks. So we will not have one in 2 weeks. And I will be gone in warmer weather.
Nice.
So Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And it was so nice to have you. And I will see y'all later.
All right. Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you. Bye.